Hey, it's April 18th. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com, presented by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer, what's going on?
How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Exciting day today. I don't know if you saw the news, but I am. We announced today a new venture that I'll be working on with Mike Claiborne for a website called Podcast Heat. It is the Joe West podcast, 5460, the Joe West podcast, hosted by Mike Claiborne. I'll be the executive producer of that, and the first episode here in about 2 weeks on May 2nd. So very excited about that news today.
Joe West is a great storyteller, and he has thousands and thousands of stories with his experience in the game. It'll be really great.
What I'm going to tell people, you might not have cared for him as an umpire, but he will bring guests on that will intrigue you, and you'll hear stories that you've never heard before about some of your favorite baseball players over the episodes that we do.
Yeah, the commish is Rick Hummel. When I was filling in doing Cardinals games, we'd go on the road, and that's when he was still imbibing and would take me to he always loved to hang out at the umpire bars. Yes, there are umpire bars. And I'll never forget, Joe West was one of the guys that said, hey, welcome to the big leagues. You ever have any questions or need to know anything about what's happening down here, you come and see me. We'll take care of you. We'll make sure that you know what's going on. He couldn't have been nicer. He won't remember that because that's how he treated everybody. That by and large, I would say every umpire loves the game, really, and they really care about the game. And that's just an example. So I think, excuse me, Joe and Claibs it'll be a tremendous show.
Check it out on Twitter if you want the details of that. Tweeted out the press release earlier today. Cardinal news. We did a show on Friday after their loss to the Brewers home opener. They went on to win games on Friday and Saturday and then lost a close one yesterday. But we did see home run number 681 in the career of Albert Pujols. So far on the season, he has started 2 games against left-handed starters and has 2 home runs against those left-handed starters. Not a bad formula the Cardinals have going for them so far.
Yeah, and even a cynic would say, well, he's doing his job and it's worked out great so far. But I think the way he is approaching the game, it looks like he's in the best shape he's been in 5 years, maybe longer. That he's going to take some of those right-handed pitcher at bats. He already has taken them away from Dickerson. And even if he performs to an average level, not even his average, but a MLB average level, a wins above replacement level against right-handed pitching, he's going to get at least 50% of the DH at bats, I think.
We did see, we saw him get the start yesterday. We saw Lars Nootbaar get a start. We saw Corey Dickerson get a start, and we also got to see Corey Dickerson play the role of hero in the game on Saturday with that top of the 8th inning RBI single with 2 outs to make it a 2-0 game, and then the Brewers homered in the bottom of the 8th inning to make it just a little bit closer in the Cardinals' 2-1 victory there. But yesterday's loss, if we want to focus on that and kind of pick that one apart, it really, I mean, that game was decided, it seems like, in the first inning. Cardinals had the bases loaded, were not able to come through and drive in any runs there. And then on the other side, the Brewers come out and they score 3 runs in the first inning, capitalizing on some Cardinal walks and mistakes in the by Dakota Hudson and also at Andrew Knizner, Paul DeYoung, whoever you want to blame that on, that throw on. And I think it kind of does start with Knizner making the poor choice to go after the runner at second instead of running that ball down the third, which is what you're taught from the beginning. Just maybe caught up in the moment there by Knizner and not fully thinking out the situation.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think, too, the other thing is Dakota Hudson was wild as I've ever seen him. I mean, people talk about command and hitting spots. he was missing by this far. He was just as wild as you can be, and then the whole staff has to recover. And now you've created a couple of extra innings for a reliever you might not normally put into a spot. And the more relievers you use, the odds go up for one of those guys having a bad day. But I'll tell you, if you go back to Saturday and you look all around baseball the first 10 days, the teams that can get a 7-inning start, like the old days, 7 innings or 7 innings plus, they have a distinct advantage over other teams. Distinct advantage. Will the Cardinals be a team that can get a couple of those starts every time through the rotation? I don't know. But if they can get there, that will be a strength.
Yeah, after that first inning though, Dakota Hudson, the next two was he didn't allow any runs after that first inning, but then you had TJ McFarland come in, get the walk two in his inning, was a little wild there. Jordan Hicks though, another impressive outing for him. 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts for Jordan Hicks, who will get a start down in Miami. They use that as his throw day, and they are finally going to put him into the rotation down in Miami against the Marlins. And then Drew Verhagen comes in and gives up 2 runs in the in the 7th inning there. So it was a shaky bullpen outing for the Cardinals, but the Brewers were no better in on their side of things. As you saw, Devin Williams was not great in his outing, and I know Brad Thompson was talking about his previous outing wasn't good there either. When one of those back end relievers to the Brewers is struggling, you have got to capitalize on them if you want to have any shot at winning a game against Milwaukee that you're trailing going into the 7th inning.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And Hader looks, man, I don't know how a closer can look any better.
You're not going to he is not going to face a better trio of hitters in a 9th inning than what he faced yesterday against the against the Cardinals. If Mike Shannon's in the broadcast booth there, he's what was his old Abner's done it again. I mean, it was Goldschmidt, O'Neill, and Arenado right there for the lefty Josh Hader in the 9th inning. You could not have had a better situation for the Cardinals, and it just shows just how dominant of a pitcher Josh Hader is.
Yeah, and the Cardinals split with Milwaukee, a team that everybody I've read in the offseason said they were the locks to win the division. And the Cardinals, I think, held their own. And I kind of feel after 4 games, which is obviously too small of a sample size, I think the Cardinals are better. I really do. But they got to play better. And so who are you really? Are you throwing the ball around a little bit too much, like the play you already mentioned? Or are you going to lock it down defensively, get your starters deep into a game, and allow that offense that's going to be better than most people predicted, let that take over so that Hader can't be a weapon late in the game?
Yeah, I think if you look right now at that Brewers team, Wong and Adames are both struggling to start off. Yelich, too, to an extent. Those 3 guys, 200 and below averages for the top 3 in that lineup. So maybe it's a case of Milwaukee struggling, but seeing them for 4 games, I didn't get it before the season started. I still don't get it now. We'll see how the final 155 games play out over the year. Yeah. But we got it. We got our first taste of Milwaukee up there to start the year. And as you mentioned, you split against them. And the Cardinals so far 3 series into the season have not lost a series yet. So
that's what you do.
Yep.
That's what you got to do.
Absolutely.
And I'll be interested, and I know we're going to preview the next series coming up. But I wonder if, because we don't know Ali Marmol as a manager, he's been sticking with pretty much the same lineup, a couple little tweaks. I'm wondering if he'll start tweaking with who's hot and who's not. That'll be really interesting to see.
I do think that we got a glimpse of Tommy Edman against a lefty is going to be hitting much higher in the lineup than Tommy Edman against a righty who's going to bat ninth. But hey, I tell you what, though, Edman right now, he got another hit yesterday. I believe that's a 9 or 10 game hitting streak dating back to last year for Tommy Edman, and Nolan Arenado has also gotten a hit in every game this season. So you are getting to see you're seeing those guys hot. A guy like Paul Goldschmidt right now, 0 for 4 yesterday, hitting 138. You're not going to change anything with that. You're not going to. He's going to stay in there, and he's going to keep getting those at bats.
You know, you say that, and I think you're right. I agree with that. But let's step back. Historically, Goldschmidt's a slow starter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So does he need to be in that spot to sort of get the engine revved up for 6 or 8 weeks? Or do you say, look, we know what reality is. It takes him 6 to 8 weeks to get going. Why not have him hit 5th or 6th for those 6 to 8 weeks? And then when he catches fire, move him up. It's hard to prove it until you try it. But I'm just curious about that.
We will see how they go about the matchup down in Miami. Another one to watch, too, is Paul DeJong hitting 167 early in the season. Another 0 for 3 for him. When does Edmundo Sosa start to knock on that door again?
Or when does Nolan Gorman, who hits 5 or 6 homers every day in Memphis, it sure seems like it when you look at Twitter. He has been killing it, though, at Memphis. It's too early, but it's interesting that people are talking about it.
We will preview that series down in Miami tomorrow. Mike Claiborne actually is flying down there to be on the call for the game on KMOX, and I believe he and I are scheduled to do our lunch show tomorrow afternoon, given his flight schedule. And if that all works out for him, so stay tuned for all of that. This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live, driven by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Rammer, your friends at Royal Banks.
Don't forget about Royal Banks. They keep expanding, but one thing that stays the same, something you can count on at Royal Banks, is that each and every branch feels like your hometown bank. Give them a call, 314-212-1500. You'll find out what other folks in the metro area have known for over 50 years. At Royal Banks, better service means better banking. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We'll be back tomorrow to preview the series against the Miami Marlins. So stick around for that. And like we said, when are you and Rockio doing your next 2-man game show?
Whenever he says. It's Matt Rocchio's world. We're all just living in it.
Right.
Either later tonight or early tomorrow.
You guys got plenty of NBA action to talk about, especially the non-calls against Giannis up there in the first game of the series against the Bucks and the Bulls. So plenty of coverage on that.
Yes.
I'm sure will come. Lots of stuff going on here at Claibs Online. We'll check back with you tomorrow for another edition of Daily Cards Live, presented by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri here on ClaibsOnline.com.
At St. Louis Acura, we have over 330 pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models, and all of them are covered by our St. Louis Acura Promise and backed by our Better Business Bureau A+ rating and 30 years in business. We also service all makes and models of vehicles, including glass and bumper repair, paint touch-ups, and full mechanical services from one of our 24 technicians. St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you, no matter what vehicle drives you.